What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Got some process layer duels for you guys to check out, showing you how easy it is to OTK and one-shot your opponent as long as you trust the process. This is an archetype that always wants to go second, and because of that, you can run things like Twin Twister, Gamma Seal, and Red Reboot all in the main deck. Those cards are excellent at answering established boards. If you're dealing with field spells, you got like Twin Twister. Red Reboot obviously locks out any of the trap cards that you're going to face off against, and then Gamma Seal also can just take away your opponent's most disruptive or monster with negation built into it. Excellent against Sky Strikers, turns off all their spells and traps or any of their Sky Striker spell cards. Plus, you can actually reduce the attack of the Gamma Seal to make it even easier to one-shot your opponent. Usually you will attack through the Gamma Seal, so you're basically using this for the same kind of reasons that like the Crusadia deck will use the Gamma Seals to kind of empower their monsters. And I believe if you're going to run any draw card in this archetype, it's definitely going to be Desires. These duels are ideally not going to last more than or any longer than just your second turn. If you don't win by your second turn, it's very unlikely that you are going to win. This is not a grind deck or anything like that. So let me show you guys some quick duels. In the first one, not going to be that much opposition. Excuse me, this is supposed to be, there we go. Yeah, first duel is not going to be that much opposition. You know, his opponent just sets this World Legacy or World Chalice Chosen. Pretty much that's it. You know that that is laughable for an opening turn. However, I will say that's what happens when you run Miko in these freaking dinosaur decks. So you start building everything around her. Sometimes you are going to draw these normal World Chalice cards and you essentially brick. So you can see right here he has Gamma Seal. Activates Desires, that's going to get hit with Ash Blossom, no problem. All that means is that he can now use Signet Mining if he so chooses. He's honestly not even going to need it. He's going to go ahead and he's going to summon Nabla. This is the one that is the it's the Lone Fire Blossom for the archetype. He's going to summon the Subtra. This is the one that special summons itself by reducing one of your opponent's monsters by 1,000 attack. It can be your own monster, but you want to reduce your opponent's monster because, again, if you Gamma Seal them, you want to make it easier to one-shot through the Gamma Seal. He's going to go ahead and use Nabla's Lone Fire Blossom effect, bring out Multiplier from your deck. I will say this deck is pretty much beholden to Multiplier. Like, you're not going to one-shot unless you get this card. That's why you are playing 3 copies of Signet Mining. Now all he has to do is activate the effect, turn his other dude into a level 8, go straight for the big boss monster, the Process Slayer Final Sigma. Multiplier is going to double its attack, so it's going to jump through 6,000, and now you can just easily kill your opponent. Now keep in mind, even though that was almost 10,000 damage in one attack, if his opponent did happen to have another monster, he would have actually been able to attack twice onto monsters during that turn. So even if he just somehow didn't one-shot him there, he would have been able to attack another monster and potentially do even more damage. So in the end, he didn't even need his Twin Twister or his Signet Mining Search. Anyway, second duel. It's going to be against Stardust Assault mode, and I felt bad for this Stardust Assault player. I mean, you pretty much never want to draw Stardust Assault mode to begin with, let alone 2. That's just like, that's the easiest way to brick your hand is by drawing this card. I mean, it's fine because Stardust Assault still has a 1-card Stardust Assault mode. You can see, as long as you have Tenki, you can instantly just get the Stardust Assault mode. It's 1 card to go straight into the Stardust Assault mode Dragon, and that's, I mean, it's good, but he's not going to play it very well here. So he's just going to summon the Sigma. He is going to equip it with the equip spell, which I do recommend you run. It gives you a little more damage. I'm not sure what was going on here. He's going to go for Stardust Assault mode. That's fine. And he is going to attack. Now, the thing about this guy is it activates as a cost. When it sends the Process Slayer monster from your deck to the graveyard, even if this card is negated or if you use some type of way of negating it, it is going to still dump as a cost. So it's going to dump as a cost. His opponent is going to negate the effect. I have no idea why. I thought that was very bizarre he would use his negation like that, because this card is just going to float at that point. So he's going to be able to add Multiplier from his hand. He loses out on Stardust Assault mode to Called by the Grave. That's unfortunate because it kind of means that if any time he was going to activate this effect, Called by the Grave is just going to wreck him anyway. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. He's going to go for Thousand Restrict and the Link Karibo. Okay, pretty solid play. Monster Reborn is Stardust Dragon. This would have been a nice comeback, but he just has these 2 cards clogging his hand, so that's unfortunate. But it's honestly not going to matter. Things like Link Karibo do not stop these OTKs because he has Multiplier. He's going to activate his Monster Reborn. The Monster Reborn gives the monster 1,000 attack. When you do go for your final Sigma, the boss monster, it's unaffected by everything when it's in the extra monster zone. So you can have 10 Link Karibos, you could have Boros War Dragon, like none of that stuff would matter because you can activate the effects, but they're just unaffected. So he's going to go ahead and attack into Stardust Dragon. He's able to just one-shot his opponent through the Stardust Dragon. Link Karibo did tribute itself as a cost, but again, it's unaffected, so that is just completely irrelevant. Then our final duel is going to be Processslayer getting a little bit of its own medicine, and that is Cubics to the rescue. If there is another deck that can one-shot just as easily as Processslayer, it is Cubics. Keep in mind, they've got a big boss monster that can be unaffected by everything as well. Well, it's unaffected by like monster effects that are under 3,000 attack, but honestly, if I had to pick and choose, like if you're a Cubic player, you should be looking at Processslayer and saying, this is the deck I'm going to switch to, because it's just much more efficient. Like Processslayer can kind of OTK for just a couple of cards, and also, I mean, you can potentially throw out your Final Sigma turn 1. It is, you know, basically it towers, you know, your opponent can kaiju it and they can boil load it, or excuse me, boil sword it, but it is a card that is quite powerful in the extra monster zone. He has a little bit of disruption, Called by the Grave, Rivalry Warlords. These would be good cards if he wasn't playing against Cubics. However, he is playing against Cubics. He's going to crank up his Cubic Lord by 2400 attack. Now he's going to activate Cubic Wave. Even though this card is unaffected by Cubic Wave, it doesn't matter. All it's doing is checking its attack, and then it's just going to give this guy even more attack. So yeah, it doesn't matter if he's unaffected or not. This guy can still be 10,000 attack. Keep in mind, when it runs over a monster in battle, which it clearly is about to, he gets to attack again, and it does 3,000 burn damage during the end phase. So, you know, he just had a little bit of he just had some of his own medicine kind of given to him. You know, Processslayer players are out here one-shotting everybody, and they're like, oh, so this is what it feels like. Not very fun when the shoe is on the other foot. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed those short duels. If you did, give a video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.